Good afternoon, Rob.
My name is Robin Vidston, and I am the California State Coordinator for the Remembrance Project. We honor and memorialize American citizens that have been killed by those illegally in our country. The reason this is significant is if our laws were enforced, those loved ones would still be with their family members. These are American citizens permanently separated from their families through no fault of their own. We completely support ICE interacting with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. They are complying with the Truth Act and SB 54, it is obvious. And this is a matter of public safety.
Ma'am, just 1 minute. I'd like you to hold your conversation, sir. I'm hearing some conversation in that general area. Okay. All right, sorry, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Reyes. Please continue, ma'am.
If I may, Mr. Chair, I believe also that there could be a bit of a murmur from the translation going on. So perhaps the translator can cup the.
That's it. Thank you,
yes,
Supervisor.
All right, thank
Appreciate it. Please continue. My apologies.
This is a matter of public safety for our families. Criminal aliens returned back into our communities pose a danger. So our sheriff department is doing the proper thing, looking out for the citizens. I am wearing the t-shirt of a man by the name of DeAndre Mitchell. He was killed by a man in our country illegally from Honduras. This Honduran had been in and out of the LA County jail system for drug trafficking, domestic abuse. He once kicked a woman in the head 10 times. ICE was never called. He was in custody 5 days before he set an intentional fire in Los Angeles that killed 5 American citizens, DeAndre Mitchell being one of them. DeAndre had a 2-year-old daughter that now is living without a father. Her grandmother is raising her, and she says, where is the justice for me and for my family? And I would also like to point out San Bernardino County Sheriff Deputy John Greg Bailey. He was killed in the line of duty. He was assisting a passenger on the 15 freeway when a man in our country illegally driving drunk hit into him and killed him. Deputy Bailey had 4 children that are now growing up without a father. These are just some of the examples of crimes committed that could have been prevented had our laws been enforced and these people in our country illegally not on our soil. So again, we are here to say we support ICE. We support upholding and respecting our laws. We are a great nation because we are a nation of laws. And the people of the world should come to our country legally, respect our laws, and reside in our country legally. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Raul Rodriguez Jr., followed by Stella May. Okay, not seen, so is there a Stella May? Okay. Followed by Lori Mattis, if I have that correct? The sound, okay.
I'd like to start by saying that I have this button, We Love Eyes. I'm making a gift for each one of you as board members, LA County Supervisors. So they will give you your button. Hopefully you'll wear it at the right time so that they know that you support ICE and what they're doing to protect the American citizens. It is a responsibility also of you members to represent and find ways to keep the community safe. It's about keeping Americans safe. Now, I support ICE 100%. I want to thank all law enforcement, men, women who serve in the sheriffs and all law enforcement. It's important because they do jobs to protect the American citizens. And also, I am wearing a shirt of Joe's story. He was murdered by an illegal in 2010. And it's important that people know that the Remembrance Project is trying to make the citizens of this wonderful country aware of the fact that we are losing many American citizens because of illegal people in this country. We support ICE, and for those people that didn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, you should be ashamed of yourselves. This is a country that represents American citizens, proud Americans. I'm a proud American. And if you don't want to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, I have a solution for you. Leave this country. Go back to where you came from, because you need to abide by our laws and the way we as Americans learn to assimilate, also those who come to our country, to assimilate the right way. Another thing is that those of you who are illegally in this country, you have a choice. Either get in line and become legal, or go back to your country of origin. And that's the reason why you're afraid to report crimes, because you are illegally in our country. And last of all, how many of you who have spoken or are willing to speak that are opposing ICE are legally in our country? Think about that. How many of you are illegally in our country? Thank you very much. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump.
Our next speaker is Stella May.
Good afternoon. I'm here. Is this on? Okay. I'm here on behalf of the concerned citizens of California and the constituents that live within this area that are working right now who couldn't be here. I'm speaking on their behalf. Also, we want to show our support for the Sheriff's Office cooperating with ICE within the county jails. Also want to thank you for the presentation about SB 54. However, along with SB 54, there's AB 450, and there are a number of other laws, but specifically SB 54 now allows illegal alien criminals to now get charged with lesser non-deportable crimes. There are literally 32 pages. I have a quick reference chart of some of the crimes that they've now been reduced so that you no longer are going to be able to deport these people that commit human trafficking, sex trafficking, prostitution, child pornography, drug possession and sale, arson, burning, malicious or reckless, being a gang member, receiving stolen property or stolen vehicle, operating a chop shop, vehicle taking, permanent or temporary, possession of a weapon with the intent to assault, driving without a license, driving with a suspended license, DUI felony, DUI causing bodily injury, hit and run felony or misdemeanor, reckless driving with injury, and throwing an object into traffic, i.e. tossing large rocks or boulders into windshields from overpasses on bridges over the freeways. I'm sure we've all heard there's a couple a year that happen where some yahoo gets on there and starts throwing boulders down and hitting trucks and so forth, causing accidents, etc., etc. The unintended consequences of illegal immigration, that is the correct term, illegal alien, by the way, that's federal code. There's nothing wrong with coming to a country to get a better life and so forth. However, unless you're an American Indian, you immigrated and you did it the right way. If you didn't, you came here illegally. You either get a visa and you go through the proper channels, or you're here illegally. And for the people that are wearing the shirts that are representative of people that have been killed by illegal aliens, but for the illegals being here and bringing their third world culture customs of driving drunk all the time, committing murders, etc., etc. Sure, there are a lot of good immigrants, but there are so many more that are let out onto the street because of SB 54 and the other laws by Sacramento that are allowing this continued separation of American families. And furthermore, when the illegals get here, they get on.
Thank you for a comment. Our next speaker is Lori Menson, followed by Cherie Wood. In that order, and Zeth Mendoza. Please, good afternoon. Lori.
Good afternoon. It's Lori Masonis. I am a San Bernardino County resident, and I'm here to say I support ICE and the work they do. I actually support ICE working with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Please continue that great work. For this is a matter of public safety and also for protecting our families. Turning criminals over to ICE rather than returning them to our communities is an example of how we keep our communities safer. I am wearing a T-shirt of a young man by the name of Marcelo, I hope I say his name right, Bissarello. He was a 24-year-old walking on a sidewalk in Santa Ana, so really not far from here, when he was struck and killed by a drunk, driving, illegal alien, and you've been hearing this quite a bit today, who had a long record. Mr. Marcelo Bissarello is permanently separated from his family. He leaves behind a loving mother and brother. So there's an example of a family permanently separated because our nation's not enforcing our immigration laws. As far as identifying the sheriff performing immigration duties, that's not the case. It was mentioned that, when they're identifying in custody inmates, they use the biometric fingerprints during the booking process. So really, we do need this interaction between ICE and San Bernardino County Sheriff. And I just want to point out that I'm sick and tired of the term immigrant being misused, being abused, misinforming the public. An immigrant has a green card. Just because you're here in this country illegally, you are not an immigrant. You are an illegal alien, a lawbreaker of the federal level kind. And being the daughter of immigrants, I know an immigrant has a green card, and my dad became a U.S. citizen. So you can do the same if you do it the right way. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Cherie Wood, followed by Lizette Mendoza. Good afternoon.
Hello, thank you for having me. I just wanted to thank Kurt Hagman, my county supervisor, for leading the charge on taking down that rinky-dink airport that Viragosa had going on over here in Ontario. And we are now mighty, and people from high desert, my kids and grandkids, no longer have to go clear to Los Angeles to catch a plane. And that's because we have jobs now. We've got an airport now. We went after the market and we captured it. And that's what America is about. I just want to make it just know that makes our lives as citizens so much better in San Bernardino County, that we have an airport as great as John Wayne and just as good as LA. I want to talk about Sheriff McCann right now. I just really wanted you to know that having ICE in the sheriff's jail means a lot to people like me, that I have seen and heard horror stories about not having an ICE there. I've seen the immigrants' rights groups, rah, 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 we don't want ICE in our jails. You know what? We deserve ICE in our jails. That's because we're American citizens. We pay the bills. It's us. And I just demand that we are represented in SB 54. Who came up with that? Who came up with that it's okay to put boulders over the freeways and kill American citizens? Who said that was okay? I just really rebuke it. I rebuke it because I am standing here for law and order. And that's what our country was founded on. We liked it. We don't like the immigrants' rights groups coming in here, the ACLU and la, trying to tell us that, oh no, we got to have the immigrants' rights groups and we got to take the illegal immigrants for their face value. No, we don't. If they're here illegally, they need to go home. And they need to take all their family with them and go and make their own country great, or come in the front door. You don't come in the back door. I'm in cattle industry, and we don't ever have problems finding a green card holder or an American citizen that wants that job. It's time that we do something about hiring to fuse the problem that we're having here in California to get a job. If they can't get a job, maybe they'll go to, I don't know where, but not here. We are crowded. Our freeways are just jammed. And I am really...
Okay, that concludes your comment. Thank you, ma'am. Our next is Ms. Mendoza, followed by Silva Murillo. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Lisette Mendoza, resident of the city of Rialto for 29 years now, a daughter of immigrants myself, and I stand here today with a lot of parents that are like my parents, a lot of the students that couldn't be here today, of uncles and aunts who couldn't be here today, and some of them who had to step out early because this is not the right public space and the right time to hold an important forum like this. You then requested 10 minutes of a recess and went over the 10 minutes. This is not the allocated time that should be followed for the Truth Act. And the spirit of the Truth Act was to increase transparency to show the collaboration between law enforcement, specifically the sheriffs in our county, and how they're working with ICE. And I know that some of that was you attempted to do that, some of that today. But we feel, again, as mentioned earlier, that by having a forum in these chambers, by having a forum at this time, by having a forum in the middle of a parking lot of a space where a lot of people don't feel safe. A lot of us had to move our cars already 2 times to be able to just sit here. And so this is not acceptable. This is not the type of transparency that we need to hold a forum like this. We hope that next time the Sheriff Association or the Sheriff Department doesn't take full control on deciding the date and the time of a public forum as this. We came back in October and we suggested, because a lot of us work in the community and our community ourselves, we suggested that you choose the proper date and time, and that you choose a central location like a congregation or a community center where all of us can attend and we can have a dialogue about this. A lot of times we can't have a dialogue. We can't understand each other, as those people, some of those folks here sitting in front of me today, some of them were trying to dialogue with us outside. And some of them weren't. Some of them were showing their full, true selves of how much hate you all have in your hearts. And
let's come back to the board, please. We're going to go to the board, or we're going to finish the conversation.
I request again that we come up and ask questions to our Sheriff McMahon, to ask all of you, our supervisors, the direct questions, and that you have more time to sit with the Truth Act and understand it left and right. As we continue to seek truth, as we continue to seek fair representation, we also ask that you respect the voters of District 3, and that you appoint a custodian to a seat, the seat that James Ramos formerly held, an indigenous man, a person of color who has advocated on behalf of the community for 6 years. The voters deserve a voice, and potential candidates in the and if a potential candidate in a 220 race, that custodian seat not be the same person that runs.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Silva Murillo, followed by Mandy Guzman.
Good afternoon, it's Silvia Murillo. I'm part of the California Immigrant Youth Justice Alliance, and I've lived in the Inland Empire for over 16 years. I am undocumented. and unafraid. I've lived in the Inland Empire for 16 years. After graduating from UCR, I moved to San Bernardino City, and where I continue to work in the region. And I'm very thankful for the community that I built with youth, educators, and the people that continue to invest in this region. This region, as we know, the Inland Empire needs a lot of investment. We need jobs, and I'm with that, but also thinking of like the transparency and the protection that everyone in this county is. I'm one of those 450,000 immigrants in San Bernardino County. Living here in this area, we need to incorporate the safety of immigrants as well. And just suggestions, I know in prior to this forum, we made an approach to the Board of Supervisors to have meetings to dialogue about the format of this forum that can better suit the entire community, the time, the space, but that wasn't, there was not much dialogue. We only had one board supervisor reply to our, to have a meeting. And I'm thankful for that. And I hope that next year, the Board of Supervisors can be more open to talking to us and on planning on this forum. But a question that I want to pose to the Board of Supervisors is that I would highly suggest that we get a more detailed presentation from the Sheriff's Department. Our community deserves more detailed information as to how are the deputies being trained, how they've been trained. Is there a manual as to how they're going to carry out the policies that is being rolled out from Sacramento? We would like to know those details, to know how are they being trained, and to have how are they being trained as far as a humane perspective as well, not just policy, but how are we being trained on treating everyone equally, and not just thinking that you're not here to protect immigrants. We're here to protect everyone in our county. And just I wanted to pose the question, will the Board of Supervisors commit for next year to work better with the community, to collaborate on making a better effort, on making more people show up? A lot of us were able to sacrifice some time off work, but we're still here. And I want to have the commitment from the Board of Supervisors to collaborate with community and make this forum better for the community, a more detailed presentation that gives justice to our community. Not very often do we see the sheriff himself present to the community, and this is a time where we have him. But his presentation was in very detailed, as we hoped it would be.
Thanks for your comment. Mandy Guzman's next, followed by Luis N. There is a Wendy, I'm sorry, spelling. Please go ahead, Wendy, followed by Luis N. of Upland.
Hi, my name is Wendy Guzman. I am 20 years old and reside in San Bernardino. First and foremost, I would like to share that I have been residing in San Bernardino for 17 years. I have grown up here